Okay, so welcome to Bay Mountain Border Fisheries. This is the Meridian Canal, and we're back on here again for a bit of a session. It's still really cold. It's been free of ice for sort of 2 days now, but then it was frozen for 5-6 days before that. So the water temperature is still really cold. It's really clear, and it's a little bit breezy as well, so we're hoping it doesn't get up too much, but I do want to be in a ripple a little bit just with the water being clear. Hopefully that will help a little bit. So main plan of attack today, really simple bait tray. I've got bread punch, maggots, 4, 6 and 2 mil expander pellets, and also some micros as well. So really simple, typical F1 kind of approach today, and we'll see how that goes. So the rigs, main plan of attack on rigs is let's get the right one. So the first one is for dobbing bread. I'll start at the top end. So elastic is made by Nick Gilbert. It's a hybrid elastic, sort of 8 to 10. So it's perfect for the fishing here. It'll still catch little silvers quite comfortably without bumping them off, but also it means that it will handle bigger fish as well. And there are some proper carp also in here, so something with a bit of beef if I need it, just for that. Main line is 016. This is my dobbing rig. So this is a float made by Nick Gilbert. Lovely little float with a hollow bristle, just ideal for bread. And then really strung out shot down an 016 main line, and down to an 010 hook length and a size 18 hook. So really quite simple today. All kits have got the puller system on them as well, just because it's you know, like I said, if we get into one of those bigger fish, it's easy to control it. Okay, I've done one rig for down the middle, so pretty much exactly the same again, really. Same elastic, still an 016 main line. Let's just move those back shot to number 8 back shot. Okay, this is also a Nick Gilbert float, so it's you know, sort of slim rugby ball kind of float. It's a 1.2 hollow bristle with a wire stem, and this is for down the track in the middle. So we're currently at, if I look at my marker kit, we're at 4.5 foot of depth there down the middle, so that'll be quite simple there. And going down to a bulk, a strung out bulk at the bottom. Just needs a bit of tweaking. There we go. Straight the way down to, again, 010 hook length with a size 18 hook. So very similar setup, but something that just gets it down and then a slow fall in that bottom section. I might change the shotting pattern on that later, but we'll see what happens with that one. Okay, so next up is sort of, yeah, 3/4 of the way across, really, just on that shelf, just sitting on that shelf there. Again, a very similar rig to before. Bit of a longer length between my end of my elastic, you know, my connector, down to my actual float, just so, again, if that ripple dies, I just want to keep everything away a little bit. This one is a carbon stem float, and this is a handmade one. So I started off in a 0.4, 1.2 bristle. I've just kind of gone with a 0.4 rather than a 0.3 just because it's a bit choppy. And then again, 016 main line, straight away down to a strung out bulk again, and then again an 010 hook length. I will drop to an 08 if I need to. 012 actually would be fine, I would imagine, but we're going to start with an 010 and see what happens with that, and we can beef it up if need be, and a size 18 hook. And then we've got a duplicate of that rig, essentially, complete duplicate. The only difference being is it's a little bit lighter, and that is actually just for, you know, a foot off the bank, just not in the shallowest water, but just gives me 3 foot basically. I looked for 3 foot, set it on my marker kit, and decided to find a depth there, and it literally is about a foot off the far bank. And just in case they want, you know, later in the day, a bit of a shallow water, but I doubt it at the moment with it being so clear. But nevertheless, we'll set a rig up anyway, just in case. Okay, so that's the plan of attack today. Like I said, I'm going to start with dobbing bread, see what happens with that. I'm going to feed a little bit down the middle with maggots, and then I'll probably drop short and come on that unless something shows that changes our mind. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we've been dobbing sort of 3/4 of the way across, dobbing bread around. I've had just 2 little roach and a skimmer, so nothing too major really. So I've been trickling some maggots down the track like we said at the start. So we're going to give that a go. I'm just going to pop this pot on. and see what happens down the track. Now, it's really important, I do this all the time, I always wet my elastic. Just because it just helps it go back in, keeps it nice and just bob on as it should be. And keep my rig out of the way. So same as usual, pick my marker, top in a few magawars, as a good friend of mine says. Just straighten the rig out. I'm in no rush to drop it in this time of year, and the fish like to see that food going through the water, the food particles. Maggots in this case, there's a few little indications straight away actually. That could be that it's just hitting the maggots part of the way down. Wind, when that wind gets up, it's really quite strong. We're just starting on a single red maggot at the moment. Let's see what happens. And I'm not really expecting to catch much this early in the day really. It's still really cold. The sun beating down on the water is making it horrible for fishing conditions really. Nice to sit in though, I'm enjoying a little bit of warmth. There's a few little knocks. Yeah, see, we get a little silver. And some people now, you know, they'll come straight off it, but it's not worth coming off it straight away. You see the maggots going in the pot, it's literally a pinch, there's probably about 8 maggots in there. See if it can entice any slightly better fish in. Oh, it's still nice to catch a few little roach. You know, this time of year it's still really cold. Like I said, the whole thing's been frozen over for 5 nights. It was a huge storm this morning as well, for about an hour. Lots and lots of really heavy rain really quickly. So I was hoping it had coloured it up a little bit, but it hasn't really made much of a difference, unfortunately. See, that sun goes in now. It's better for the fish, but I'm cold. One of the biggest issues as well with this venue is really, really silty. In some of the other places that are clay bottoms, just find it's a bit easier to fish. You've got a firmer bottom. A bit of a lift bite there. But not the case for this one. It's really silty. All the venues actually on this complex are like that, like peat and silt. A lot of sort of stick and leaf matter and stuff on the bottom, so finding that little spot can sometimes be quite difficult. A little fish there, see, just a little lift, let it settle again. And oh, it's actually a stunning roach. What a beautiful fish that is. I'm just gonna show you that. It's freezing cold though. Oh, they are. Look at that, what a gorgeous fish. It's getting on for a pound in weight. Carefully popping back. Now, keep everything the same really, stick to single red maggot. For the moment anyway. I'm not going to feed again this time because there's a bit of bait on the bottom there now. But we keep everything else exactly the same, just feeding. Just dropping that bait in and letting the rig straighten out. It's a bit difficult in this wind sometimes. It was a good bite that as well. Took it with good confidence, which is nice. So it was either a bit of competitivity down there or just coincidence. Who knows? And that lift bite I had just before that, it could have just been a bit of a liner, could have just swum into the line. The beauty of backshot now, backshot's really doing its job. And it could be that the feeding's actually drawing the fish down to the hook bait, and obviously I've not fed this time and there's no bite. So the temptation now is just to wing a bit in with my hands, but I'm not going to do that. Doesn't take much to come back. Little pinch in there. Back we go again. So my elbow on the end of the pole to mark my length. Pick my mark on the far bank. Line up against that. And drop those maggots in. So just them going through the water could be enough to bring those fish down to the hook bait. Sometimes you can see as well, you get a few line bites as they're taking the maggots mid-water. Sometimes, like I say, it's a little fish, I think. It's amazing, isn't it, that difference in feeding. It's a perch, stripy perch. They'll eat anything. So those maggots have just got to the bottom, so with it being so quick there, I'm not going to feed again this time. And a bit of fish activity might draw the F1s in, but I don't expect them to feed really until a bit later in the day. Oh, that wind is a bit savage. Even fishing short, I've been holding a pole in that, it's a little bit entertaining. Oh, it's cold as well, really icy wind. No indication, so just a little lift. Drop it back in again, see if it takes it on the settle. Little roach, I think. No, perch again. I think the perch have moved in. So now what I could do is try and expand We're starting to get a lot of perch. So rather than the maggots now, I've gone to just a 4mm nice soft expander and a tiny pinch of micros, just again to put something falling through the water, but it's just not those maggots if it's drawing in those perch. It's really important that you put your feed in over the loose feed that you just potted in. These little pots from Matrix are absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. The fact that it alters with different sizes as well. You can put a bit more in if you want, and the medium ones that I've got on at the moment are just perfect. Just for, I don't need the tiny ones. I can just squeeze them into the corner. Just a thumbprint of pellets, just squeezed into the corner of the pot, and then a little dunk in the water and out they pop. Fantastic design. Don't damage your pole in any way as well, and you can fit them on right at the end. No point in it being sort of a foot down from the end of your pole, because then you're not going to be fishing over your feed. See, interestingly now, there's if there is any F1s down there, the pellet will pick them out. So at the moment, the only feed that I've put in anywhere else has been, again, a tiny pinch of pellets on where I've been dabbing bread. About 3.5 foot of water. And I think the F1s will come to that point a bit further over, and I've done it sort of 10 o'clock to my position as well, so I can just, because just in case he shy away from me. Professional skyliner in the bright sunshine. If nothing comes of this, they go back to the maggots again, and might try a double maggot on the hook. Or the deadly maggot and fluoro pink combination. You love it. Was that a little bubble then? I'm too busy talking to you lovely people whilst I'm watching. It's getting excited in the sunshine. Come on, fishies. Oh, yeah, there was a bubble and there was a bite, and there we are. It was worth it just for that little bit of patience. So I was saying about these puller kits before now, just 2 cut strips of elastic on this. Perfect control of the fish, it's just in front of me. It feels like a nice F1. Because of the sunshine, it sees the net really easy. There we go. As soon as he pops up, straight in. Yeah, we just had a gale force wind decide to take place. I'll show you this fish. It's a beautiful dark colour, golden F1, about 2.5 pound. I'm carefully returning into the water. Oh, that water is so clear. You can see him going down. So we're just going to go again with a tiny pinch of micros. Just while we negotiate the waves that have come down this straight now. This was completely out the wind when we set up, just goes to show. There we are, this pot, we just tin it upside down. I can see pellets just coming out. Little tap just to make sure. So guys, I mean, this is where, you know, if it stays like this in terms of wind, the only line I can fish is short with it being so bad. This is the kind of wind that breaks your pole. But that back shot in the water should be enough to hold the rig steady. Let's see if there's anything else there. Bit of patience. Hopefully the wind will drop a little bit. As soon as I look over to my right, I'm just blinded by the sun. I think it's difficult in the wind. It looked like a few more bubbles again. Okay, just a little lift and drop. But see how interesting that was, that we went from the maggots and drawing the fish in and perch being there, and then the switch to the pellets and the difference where that brings a nice F1 into play. So this goes to show you can kind of read it in a mat situation, just like I did then. Again, so important when it's blowing a gale like this is that wire stem float. It just keeps it nice and sort of steady in the water. That alongside your back shot and the shotting of your rig just gives you that absolute stability despite the terrible wind, crosswind. And it gets to a period of inactivity is when you think, oh, do I go back to the maggot again, try double maggot, try something different? You can switch it around, you know. Some days you can't get consistency and it defies everything that you would normally get just because that's the way the fish are on the day. So don't be afraid to try different things. Yeah, lift it out quite a bit because if they're sat you know, 1.5 foot off the bottom, you just want to catch their eye with that pellet, and sometimes it's enough for them to follow it down. F1s especially, you know, they're really notorious for following a bait down, but they might be sitting mid-water. You won't be able to catch them shallow this time of year. It's not even worth a chance, not even worth a go really. It seems to have gone quiet again now. So now I am thinking, you know, a few more maggots back in again, slow fall through the water. And maybe try a double maggot hook bait to see if the F1s will take it. And it could have just been the change that brought about the bite, and another change might bring about another bite. Let's give it another 10 seconds. Okay. So I'm going to go this time to double red maggot. It was single before when we were catching the little silverfish and the little perch. We'll just make sure we get out to our spot before we pour maggots all over the place. So you can see how clear it is that they're going down. Water is so clear. The wind taking that all over the place, and there we go. Let's see what this brings about. Probably a little roach again, or perch. There's some bigger perch in here actually. I wouldn't say no to a nice big bony mouth perch. But I think if they were about, the smaller ones wouldn't be. A tiny little knock then. It's quite a slow knock that. It just sort of went, you know, it's those little dinks are the ones that you just lift into. Slow ones are usually liners as those maggots are sinking through to the bottom. If you strike it though, you can end up with foul little fish. So again, the setup of the rig and the back shot, keeping it nice and steady in that chop. Let's see if this brings about a bite. I mean, maggots, I tend to lift and drop a little bit more if they're foraging about on the bottom. tiniest little dink that was. I don't think it's an F1. Looks like oh, it's another nice roach. There you go. Okay, so we've been fishing down the track, had some lovely fish, including a nice mirror. And we've now gone on to, not the far bank, but just the bottom of that far shelf. Just like I said we would. Now the biggest issue is the wind, although it's calmed down a little bit now, so let's hope it stays like that, but it's got to the point where it's absolutely crazy wind, as in pole breaking wind. So we're having to be a little bit careful. We're only at 13 meters, but it's enough to be having to fight against this wind. It's a bit like wrestling a bear some of the time, actually. And even just potting baiting like this is proving quite difficult in the conditions. It's really important that we lay it in that way, because we are on a slope. And let's see what's going on. I have put the occasional little bit of pellet in here on the far side, just to see if anything would come up into the shallow water later in the day. And it's now about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we'll give this a go. It's really difficult reading the dinky bites because of the chop on the water, and just holding the pole still in this wind is really, really difficult. Oh, see, it's 7 gusts like that. It just absolutely wrecks the presentation of your rig. And it's a shame, actually, it does spoil it, but you can't always pick the weather, you know, and it's good to test. I tend to put my arm out a little bit like this, it just supports the pole. Hopefully we can bring you back here in the summer when I'm not wrestling with the wind. It'll certainly be easier to film in, I suppose, with it being like this. I was just about to say it'd be nice if we got a fish, but there we go. Look, do you know what, the way that's come in then, this is how cold the fish are. I thought it was going to be a skimmer or something, but it is an F1. Oh crap, not decided not to fight until you got in the net. Not as big as some that we've had. still. Nice to see they've had a bit of a feed. So back on again with a, I'll go with a 4mm again. Sometimes do alternate between a 4 and a 6, and if it's really difficult, I go down to the 2. Just again, a pinch of micros in that pot, not too many. You don't have to fill the pot. You know, far from it really. Okay, let's get that rig laid in and see if we can get it to settle without getting blown all over the shop. Again, just goes to show how important it is those 2 number 8 back shots when fishing in any kind of wind really, but especially when it sort of blusters like it has done today. That float started right down, so it should, even a little dink, it should just disappear. Oh no. Trouble is, it's difficult then when when it's started so low to distinguish between the bite and the ripples. Whoa, strong gust of wind then, taking the end of the pole away. It's the thing with pole fishing, even if you've got thousands and thousands of pounds of pole, you still ain't going to be able to hold it in wind. There we go. They can come back and then they tend to bite in that deeper water. So we're just keeping the tip of the pole nice and close to the water. There's no rush, rollers are in the right place till we can unship. Oh, and the beauty of these puller kits. All be popped and he comes. Simple as that. There we go, another one. And it's just a case of repeat the process really. You can get yourself into a really good rhythm. I am just keeping the maggot line ticking over just in case the wind does get that bad like it is at times. I just can't hold the pole at any kind of distance. Yeah, I don't worry about my rig when I'm potting in. It's just, especially in this wind, just get it accurately into the right place. There it is, a little tap in. And then I can worry about laying my rig in now. This is the beauty of these carbon stem floats, is it that I've made. It does allow me to follow the bait down, just in case. Just in case something has it on the drop. Then you get a nice curve in the line as that pellet sits on that bottom shelf. Just about right. Hopefully there's a few fish there now. Yeah, I've got my down the track peg. I've got a couple more on the other side. It's a stick. Is it going to come off? Yeah. We don't want the stick fish. Oh, it's wind. Really howling over my right shoulder, right into my ear. I'll probably get earache tomorrow. Icy wind. This is all part of the fun of fishing for a few bites in the middle of February. The thing with F1 fishing as well is to catch fish, you catch one fish at a time. So you feed, you catch the fish hopefully, and then you feed again after that. And it's not often really I'll feed twice without catching something, unless like I've lost one or something like that, and then go feed again. Doing it that way, it just means that you don't overfeed it this time of year. You can get away with it in summer when they're eating everything that you put in front of them. But oh, that wind. I'll just try laying it in again like that. Oh, struggling to hold the pole. And it drops a little bit like that, and it's just bit of relief. Are there any fish there? Yes, there is. When you did on swimming towards me, that one, I have to shit back a little bit quicker. I've got a tree behind me, just to be a little bit careful. There he comes. There we go. Now it'd be nice to have a keep net in one of these days and actually show you the catch at the end of the day. They don't have keep nets allowed on here unless it's a match, so I will try and get permission. Now always check this as well, often with F1s, and usually the shotting on, you know, when the fish is flapping about in the landing net, can just upset the shotting of the rig a little bit, so always check it. You don't want to put it back in there all skew with. Like I said before, we keep that centre line going. It's difficult to do it by hand in the wind, but so I'll line it up with my marker on the far bank, which is that big post sticking out with the rope on it. Oh, it's just come out of the pot, luckily, there. I'm trying to get that pellet to settle. There we go. Wind blowing the end of my pole around. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Just requires that little bit of extra concentration when you're in these conditions, just to try and keep your float steady so that your presentation isn't messed about. And there you go, you see, and that's, even though it was blowing about everywhere there, the back shot and the fact that I've got a longer lash between the end of my elastic and my pole float meant I was able to settle everything where it should be. Just a little bit fatter. This one doesn't want me to show him to you. Camera shy. There you go. So sticking when they're feeding like this now and it's still this cold, I'm not going to change anything at the moment. I'm just going to keep it going. Still making sure don't put too many micros in. Occasionally you'll drop in an expander or two in there as well, just so they don't get too preoccupied on the micros. And you notice I didn't dip my elastic in that time in the water to lubricate it. It's because obviously with just having the fish, it's done it for me because of landing it, and there it goes. And then back on again. So it literally is into a rhythm, just keep it going. Have confidence in what you're doing. You know, too much hesitation will lead to mistakes. But trust your instinct as well, I think, is another big thing for me. Sometimes it doesn't just feel right or it doesn't look right, and it just comes with a bit of experience. And you know you need to do something, you know, whether that be change your hook bait, change your position, start again, different area of the peg. You know, it could be that, it could be a little bit, you know, a shotting pattern change, it could be slight change of depth, dropping the rig in straight rather than line it in. You know, all those different things. You've got to keep trying different things if you're not catching fish, and see what it is that brings it. And you know, if you suddenly get a bite after trying something different, and try that again, is it that? But then don't be disheartened if you don't get consistency. You know, this time of year especially can be really, really difficult in terms of consistency. And sometimes it does require, you know, something slightly changing each time to be able to keep the fish coming, to keep the bites coming. That's just fishing. Oh. See, when the wind drops, I can sit more comfortably. It's great. So obviously when that wind gets up, just extend that arm out. It's a bit like a bump bar. Gives that a little bit more stability. And hopefully something takes the bait. Jesus Christ, this wind. It's blown my rig all over the place. I have to relay it again. Back on the right spot. And hopefully produces a bite. There's a lot of sulphur fishing here with its pellets. Pellets seem to stop them from pestering you, really. Obviously with the maggots, you get them quite a lot. But there's days on here, I've had days on here in the past where I've had some great F1 catches on. You know, loads of F1s just on maggots, and some days that's what they want. Some days pellets, some days they can't make their mind up. And you just got to adapt and change your fishing according to what the fish want. And hopefully when we get this locked down, match fishing can start again, and I'll bring you on one of the matches and we can see how we do. I mean, matches on this venue are really, really peggy. You know, you've got to be on a certain number of pegs really to get in the top 3. So it is a bit luck of the draw. But, you know, my thing is always beat the anglers either side of you, and if you can do that, you're always going to learn a lot, and that's really important in fishing, to see what you can learn. I'm not sure if I foul locked this one actually, it just feels a little bit lethargic. We're just going to take our time, and even a foul up fish, you know, you can land them, just take your time. I just think it's a better fish actually, unless, like I said, unless it is foul locked, but just keep everything nice and close to the water, nice and low down. When it's coming towards you, when it's swimming towards you, that's the time to strip your elastic off. Don't do it when it's swimming away. I don't want to force it up because we're not quite sure that it's in the mouth. I think it's a carp, it's a proper carp, carpy carp. Proper one. And I don't want this one coming off. I did say at the start there's a few lumps in here. Hopefully, I'm fishing really light, we can show you one. And that's why it had gone quiet over there as well. It's a nice big common. Oh, it's a gorgeous fish. And that's why it would have gone a bit quiet on that line. Oh. He's perfectly up in the lip. I'll get this one out and show you. There you go, look at that beautiful Bay Moulton Border Fisheries Meridian Canal Common. It's a gorgeous fish. Put him back. So always keeping him over my net, keeping it nice and safe, always returning it to the water in the net. I mean, look after these fish. That one hasn't got a mark on it. It was a beautiful fish. So make sure that we put it back in the same way. And that, in the middle of February on a freezing day. Take that any time. In fact, treat myself with a cup of tea. Or a mouthful of tea. So yeah, like I was saying, it had gone quiet, hadn't it? You know, it was a bit, everything had gone a bit quiet, and you think, oh, they're there. But sometimes it is because a proper carp has moved in. They will bully the F1s out of the way, especially one of that size. Once again, you know, I mentioned the elastic at the start of the session, and it's perfect for, you know, perfectly fine for those silvers, those little roach and perch that we were having at the start. Yeah, it'll still handle a fish like that, no problems at all on the puller kit, and it's just about not panicking, taking your time, keeping everything smooth, and you shouldn't have any problems with it, really. Again, a bit of practice always helps. A good excuse to get fishing, isn't it? And this, you know, it's a pleasure session, and it's great to come and show you guys what I'm doing. This is the kind of, it's lessons from this that you take into matches as well. Let's just lay that in again. and see what else we can catch. Just steady that pole in the wind. You know, and that, you know, a fish of that size then, 5-6 pound, beautiful common, and the 016 mainline don't not make a lot of difference really. And, you know, you watch the professional videos and they're absolutely right. It doesn't make a lot of difference. And that was an 011 hook length to a size 18 barbless hook, you know. And again, as long as your rig is balanced and you take your time, you will be able to land those fish without too much bother. Obviously in the summer when they're charging around because they're warmer, you might need to step it up a little bit, but generally you'd be fishing a bit heavier in the summer anyway. But having said that, you know, I'd probably be on an 012 hook length and a size 16 hook could be the only difference in the summer. I still keep with the same main line. And I was that scared away the rest of the fish, that one, and hopefully the F1's come back in with that refeeder pellet. Might just take a little while. Is there anything else there? Just try laying it in again. Again, sometimes that visual pellet dropping through the water can just bring them in on the spot. And the beauty of these floats that I make is they're so sensitive. Absolutely perfect for this kind of fishing, for F1s. You know, they're so shy biting, that littlest dink, and it shows it up perfectly well. And you know, and the beauty about making your own floats is you can have them to your own spec. I know some of the shop bought ones are fantastic, and I've used them for years and years and years, and it's only because of lockdown I thought I'll try something a bit different really. And I just wanted something that was a little bit more sensitive but would still have the stability that you would normally get, and therefore, you know, I design my own floats and you change them accordingly, and this is perfect for it. Oh, the wind's actually dropped. That's so nice. Trouble is, if the wind drops too much, it'll probably start raining. I was wondering whether that carp had eaten all those pellets, to be honest. A bigger one, so it might be a... might come back and feed again. Yeah, especially with it being calm. Now the wind's dropped. Make sure I get that feed on the mark exactly where I want it. Doesn't take much just to whiz back. Okay, wind picked up again though. Yeah, definitely gone in the right place. Look, and we're back to wrestling a bear again. I much prefer to wrestle fish rather than the wind. It's far more entertaining. Now it could be that that little feeding spell was the only feeding spell. You just never quite know. Oh, blown us off again. Reset the rig, there we go. Hopefully we get another positive bite. Just remember folks as well, if you like what you've seen on this video, subscribe and like. You know, it's really, really important. And if there's anything you want me to cover, you want me to try out, any ideas that you've got that you want me to see me have a challenge at, whoa, other than the wind like this. Oh. Yeah, anything that you want me to have a go at, any on the bank challenges, please pop comments in or send us a message on Facebook at ASFishingTV. Just let me know what content you want me to cover. And it could be, you know, you set me a ridiculous challenge and gives you a good laugh me trying to do it. Biggest challenge today is holding up 30 metres of pole in a gale force wind. So when it's as strong as that, I just don't want to break the pole, so it's just come back a little minute, just let it drop. You know, for the sake of resetting the rig again. If I can get it back in the water, there we go. And there we go, fish on again. So they've just got a tree just falling short of it, but last thing I want is bashing against that. This feels like an F1 again, I think. As usual, flap about in the net, lies all over the rig. There we go. Right then, off we go again. In this wind as well, sometimes just a quick way of checking your joints as you go down. Just to make sure nothing slips and you're having stresses on your pole in this kind of wind. I've actually put a short number 4 on today as well, just because of the wind. Just stiffens everything up a little bit. Oh goodness me, off it goes again. Worn out. The duck laughing at me. But it sounds like. At least we got it back on its spot now. Come on, the fishies. Come on, the F1s. It's a difficult one on snake lakes actually, because sometimes in matches they do get pushed sort of towards you, especially if you've got an angler that's causing a bit of a commotion. And when you're pleasure fishing, you know you've got to try and get them to come to you, which is really difficult this time of year. Oh, and here comes the rain as well, and a gale force blast of wind. Jesus Christ. Oh, can't hold it in that kind of wind. Try that again. Beautiful rain. Oh, come on. We need the wind to stop. Whoever said this was easy. Holy Christ. Oh! Can't keep my rig in the water, the wind's that bad. makes you wonder once it gets to that stage, like just your pellet flinging around all over the place under the water, what the hell the fish must be thinking if any of them are there. No wonder they bugger off. I can't wait for the days where you can I'll have to wrestle bloody gale force wind to get a few bites. The frustrating thing is, just like that, when it settles and I can have it on top of my pile and catch fish. This one wants to go in the tree. Oh, nice fat F1. He's a tubby one. Well, belly on him. Let me check our rig again. Just getting into good habits all the time. Keeping them going. Stop any of the rain. I think it's actually stopped raining again now. Oh, nearly. I'm stopping any of it getting into my pellets. A little ruin them. And again, really importantly, if you've got anything that you want to comment on, please do. If there's any content in particular you want to see, again, drop a comment below and see what I can do. Had a bit of a dip then, and again, there might be little fish or liners. Not confident ones, just little tweaks. Come on, fishies. Be nice to me while the wind's dropped a little bit. Sometimes those little dinks, it's just the ripples going over the float. It's difficult to distinguish when it's this kind of weather. I'm trying to think what we're on. We're on Thursday today. I'll be out again on Sunday, so I've got a few days of prep and some editing obviously to do. I'm going out again on Sunday. I'll bring you with me on that. I think the weather hopefully will be a bit less challenging than today. And I'm back to work on Monday. But then I'll be out again the following weekend. Then get most of my editing done during the week, and then while I'm, in the evenings, and I'll be back out again on one of the weekend days. Not including stuff in the tackle room. I can cover stuff in the tackle room pretty much any time. Oh, this wind. Yeah, it's gone a little bit quiet again now, and a few of those what might have been indications, but it was difficult to tell. Let's lay it in again. It's a weird wind today. It seems to be coming from behind me now. Well, I'm not complaining. If it stays like that, at least I can hold my pole. Let's say that little bite then, and then down it goes. And this one swung the other way. It's the first one that's done that. A bit slow on netting then, wasn't I? Beautifully in that top lip. There we go. See how he sat then for a while with not a bite, and then relayed that rig. And say just the sight of that pellet dropping through the water can be enough to bring them onto your hook bait. So the same again, pinch your micros. What was that? Just keep a few of those maggots going in, maggots, juicy maggots. There we go. Let's see if we can winkle out another one. That wind needs to drop a bit though, so we can actually get the pellet over the hook bait over the pile that we just fed in. That presentation is everything, and especially when you plumb up, you know, to the middle of the body of the float, you've got to be, essentially it's just tickling the bottom, that pellet. Which is what you need it to be, you know, just sensitive. As soon as the F1 sucks that pellet in, it registers on that sensitive float. And like I said, yeah, we just catch, you know, you're fishing for one at a time in these conditions, this time of year. It's interesting that they've come on this line actually, and not had to pull them up in front of me. I managed to keep it at 10 o'clock so that I've got all that area free. If it didn't work out, you know, if we didn't catch, there'll be plenty of areas to move into. Yeah, the bird's singing as well, which is quite nice when it's not howling a wind down here. Yeah, it's sat there now for a bit. There you go. As soon as we get it still. I think it's a smaller one actually. Maybe not. Felt like it at first. He's still swimming away from me, this one. He just didn't know he was up, I think, at the start. When you do this, you pull nice and close to the water. Keeps the fish directly in front of you, actually, nicely in control. Especially in a mat situation, you know, you've got anglers on next peg or next back one. You don't want your fish charging through their swim, they ain't gonna thank you for it. You can strip the elastic back, and then before you know it, it's right in front of you. What have we got here? Nice big fat F1. Oh no, it's a mirror. What do I know? Oh, it's the second mirror of the day actually, so that's 3 real carp. Today, 2 mirrors and a common. I'll hold him up and show you, if you'll let me. He's a bit lively. Oh. Okay. There we go, beautiful fish. Another one. Safely returned to the water. So again, little period of quietness, but explained again with another fish, and that's what stops me. It's little bits like that, you know, not moving to another spot at the moment. You know, there's no reason to when you're still catching fish like that. It just means a bit of patience, you know, this time of year, and it's not all, you know, I watched a lot of these videos before I started making them myself. I managed to hook my keep net now, my landing net. Happens to everybody. Right, yes, so as I was saying, what's going on? Oh. Having a bit of a nightmare. So basically I've got weed on the line, the shot's all moved. In fact, I'm not sure now if that's even correct. Let's have a... Yeah, it is. Okay. Off we go again. A bit of a moment there. Yeah, so as I was saying, when I'm watching these videos, you know, fantastic guys at Winning Ways, what a brilliant channel. You know, taught me absolute loads, and they're fantastic gents, aren't they, as well? It's not all sunshine and bagging fish and everything going smoothly, you know. Obviously, you only see what they want you to see. Although with Winning Ways, they are a little bit more realistic, let's say, as to some of the other fishing videos you can watch. But it's stuff on there that you come out and you put into practice yourself and you try it out. And that's exactly what I'm doing here now. And I've been doing for, you know, a number of years, really. It's good to come and film that journey and let you in on it. I do love these pots from Matrix. They're absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so to bring you on the journey and you know, so you can see how it's done from the average angler like yourselves, you know, when you've not got sponsorship and kit coming in, you know, coming in the post to you and all that kind of stuff, and you can't go out 2-3 times a week and get on a bank coaching. You know, you have to have a job in the week, and you've got family and kids and stuff, and you know, to come out and try the things, and you can still do well doing that, you know, and that's the plan of this. That's the point. That's this journey. Let's see if I managed to keep the bait still. Is it going to produce a bite? Nice if it does. I can't hold it, can't hold it. Jesus, come on. Oh. Well, I've managed not to swear today yet, which is quite an achievement. Nothing to beep out as yet. Even if the float went down, when I'm trying to hold it like this, I wouldn't be able to strike anyway. I can't lift the pole into the wind. Bonkers. It'd go fishing in weather like this. It's quite funny actually when you're leaning into the wind, holding your pole, and it drops and you pull everything out of position again. Come on. Give me a break for the minute, because when I can hold that float still, most of the time we get a bite. Oh. We're the last of the gusts now for a while. Give me a rest. Such an excellent fishery dish, you know. It's ridiculously, you know, not the conditions that we need today, and yet you still manage to catch some lovely F1s and some carp. And we're into another one now. And it's just managed so well, you know. Mick and Rob and Stuart and the guys do a wonderful job on here, and you can come on any of the 7 lakes in this complex and come and have a really good day's fishing at any time of the year. Any time of the year, as long as you know, put some of these things into practice. And I don't need 4 meters of landing net handle as well and on here, which is good. There we go. Got a little, oh, hang on, a little bit of a dip, but we need to make sure that the shotting is where it needs to be. There we go. Same again, pinch your micros. Few maggots on the middle swim. again, just so it gives me that option. Even if I'm not filming, you know, I'd still do that. Always give myself a couple of areas, you know, where I can catch those fish. Big gust of wind then. If you're doing that, don't pod it in until that wind's dropped. There's no point in putting it in the wrong place. I'm always picking that marker on the far bank, that post with the rope on it sticking up. So fortunate to live less than a mile away from here as well. It's right on my doorstep and great to come down to these 7 lakes. I've got one directly behind me actually called Robbie's. And then there's a specimen lake with carp up to 20-25 pound in it, and also some F1s and a lovely head of roach as well, which is great. Especially in the summer. Great in the winter for the roach. Lovely in the summer for the carp and the F1s, and you do get some bivvies on there and some of the specimen anglers, but it's worth coming down on a pole and giving it a crack. And then there's 3 islands, which is a mixture in there. A bit more sheltered actually, which can be quite nice again in the winter, but it's very shallow. Lots and lots of skimmers in there and some big carp as well, which can present a challenge with it being quite a small place with 3 islands in it. And then there's a specimen lake, which again is complete mixture. Lots and lots of silverfish. They hold a silverfish league on there, which is great. And some big carp in there as well in the summer. And they've got a junior pool, which is perfect for beginners. Oh, wind. And then they've also got the match lake itself, which is got one big island in the middle actually, and you can fish all the way around it. Which is again lovely lake to fish. It's really, really silty is my only complaint. But again, you can have great days fishing on there, all different methods as well. You can catch on feeder, barn, waggler, you know, pellet waggler, traditional waggler and pellet waggler. It's great for poles, great for margin fishing. You know, a lovely venue. It's great to go a bit of feeder practice actually in there in the summer, casting up to features on the island. There we go. I knew there was one there. So yeah, lots of choice here. And again, if there's something that you want me to cover or you like the sound of that, I've got barbel by the way in some of these lakes as well. As not massive, but they go up to about £2. But if there's something that you like, drop a comment, like and subscribe. I can cover some of the things that you asked for, which is all part of the fun. This is a nice big F1. This is where you soon build them a weight up in a match, these fish. Slipping and sliding about. So the net has just moved all the shot again. And when I retie these rigs, obviously, it doesn't move around as much. feeding that maggot line all the time. Well, not all the time. Sort of each fish. And just a quick check of that joint. I need that one to drop a little bit so we can get this pot of pellets in. There we go. Despite the challenges, we got that absolutely on the money. Can't hold it now, but see, something's had a line bite then as those pellets are going down, so there's definitely a fish there. And again. Oh, it's wind. Really bad. Oh, for Christ's sake. Just can't get the pellet on the pile of bait when the wind is this strong. It's blowing me all over the place. Just wait for it to drop a little bit. I can just get it to sit steady there for a minute. Hopefully it's enough for them to take it. No, stick bite. So you finally get it to keep still and end up hooking a stick. It's because of the wind that is, it's towing through underneath, undertow, it's blowing the debris down across the bottom of the lake. The canal, whatever you want to call it. Oh. See, once again, it's just getting that presentation. You just need the wind to give it a rest. Then I can sit up and be a bit more comfortable. Oh, I think that was a bite. Don't miss bites. Maybe it was a liner. Didn't miss that one. I think it was a liner before. It's a small one, if it's... Is it enough one? Yeah, it is. Smaller enough one. There we go. See, the small ones don't cause as much trouble. I'm quite surprised they've had this much actually, because I at the start I was really geared up with the bread. Thought it'd be a day of poking around with bread because the fish wouldn't feed. Oh, look at that, it's just got windy now. I've gone out with my pole and pot. Oh. Yeah, so they have come to the pellet and they have had a bit of a chew today, which is nice. And it's lovely to get out, you know, lockdown, in lockdown, out lockdown, in lockdown, out lockdown, into shielding, out shielding. And before we know it, it'll be vaccine time, hopefully, and it's crazy. You know, lovely to get out, be outside. It's perfectly safe. I've seen one other person today fishing on the lake behind me, a guy, and he only stayed till sort of lunchtime and then off he went. He didn't catch anything. You know, so I've had a nice peaceful day, which is lovely, before I get home to the kids and the usual family chaos, which, don't get me wrong, is brilliant. I love it to bits. Ooh, should I? Yeah, again, now I've actually got a stable rig, so it's going to go down. You'd think this is the time. I've actually got a gust of wind now blowing the opposite way. Honestly, what conditions today. Whew. Excuse me, you lovely lot, just yawning. I actually got here later than planned this morning as well. Overslept. But not complaining, you know, turned out to be a lovely day's fishing. And there goes another one. Just sort of one run and then went all lethargic. That's because it's a smaller one and it's gone crazy again. Oh, typical F1, hot come out of the net. Dinky one. One of the original stockies, he's got his dorsal fin stuck on the net. There we go. Not seeing many sort of waterfowl kind of life today. I had some ducks going a bit mad earlier on, but other than that, it's been a bit quiet. It's even too cold for them, I think. It's even too cold for the ducks. Oh. Didn't press my pellets in very well then. Here comes the wind again. Look, it knows I'm going back out with a pot. That's what it is. I'll try and get this in the right place. In the wind. So we're in now to last sort of 15 minutes really, so see if we can get a couple more, or even one more I'd settle for at the moment before we sign off for the day. A little dink again, but it's smaller fish attacking the macros as they're going down. Might be nice just for this last 10-15 minutes, just for the wind just to drop and leave me alone. It's been really hard work actually today, you know, in these kind of conditions, to try and keep things presented correctly, to keep the bites coming. You know, plenty of fish again for the middle of February, absolutely freezing cold, water is clear, fish are like blocks of ice, but yet we've still caught quite a few fish, and it's nice, you know, like I said, days like this, they teach you all, you can come and learn and try things out. And that brings a different element to your fishing, which is nice. Even better if we can catch another fish. On cue. Oh, this one's decided he wants to pull back. fine until he saw us, and then had something different in mind. As soon as they pop their heads up like that, landing that under them straight away. There we go. Another good thing with these videos as well is it enables me to learn a little bit more and push myself, and you know, catching fish to order is not easy for any angler, doesn't matter what level you're at. And I think this gives me a little bit of something when there's no matches on, you know, we're not allowed to match fish at the moment. I'm not going to feed the maggot line now because we're pretty much at last cast. But yeah, it gives you that extra challenge, and I love to be challenged like that. Like I said, if you like what you see today, inquire about a t-shirt, like and subscribe, drop a comment below, tell me what you want to see, and it'll be a pleasure to try and bring some of that stuff to you. Unless it's too windy like this. No, I'm only kidding. It'll be good. We'll see if we can winkle out one more fish. So important you lay that rig in correctly again, that little bow in your line if you're fishing against the slope, just so that it keeps everything in place and sensitive. As soon as they take that bait, you can see it on the float, it registers on the float straight away. And that gentle lift. You don't need to be sort of striking their heads off, but that gentle lift. Yeah, just like that. Exactly what we wanted. As long as it stays on, we'll call this one the last one of the day. There we go. Another lovely, lovely fish. Okay then, so a nice day's fishing considering the conditions. You know, I did the last session on here and said what would I change. And I said that I would have brought maggots, otherwise I would have kept things the same. And to be fair, I've pretty much done exactly that, you know, today. The maggots on the track down the centre has worked really, really well. And it brought us some of those extra fish, which was lovely. And again, you've seen some of the still pictures of those, not all of them on film. But then moving over, you know, when it started to get a bit quiet there, it's obvious that the fish had moved away. And with the temperature warming up slightly, you know, throughout the day as it does naturally, it makes sense to go from 4.5 foot to, you know, 3¼ foot of water, which I'd got, you know, 2 or 3 options of doing that, and they've come to that really, really quick, which is great. And you could tell because they were coming to the feed down the track, so it was obvious that they were going to come to the feed in slightly shallower water as well, and that worked out really well. And that line basically is produced the rest of the time. You know, last 2 hours, as you would expect, it's been really, really good, and we've had plenty of fish. So that's it really. Like I said, if you like what you see, drop a like and please subscribe to the channel. It's really important that you do so, and it means a lot to me as well. And please, you know, put some comments in below as well. Like I said, the aim is to bring you the content that you want to see, and I'm really looking forward to some of the things and some of the challenges that hopefully are going to be coming my way. This has been ASFishingTV, and I'll see you soon. Stay safe, tight lines.